Hi there, this is Karen McNall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I live in the lovely state of Vermont. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are a first-time viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post another video or come to you live on YouTube. If you are already a subscriber, I thank you so much. Okay, so this video today will consist of my free card class for the month of July, so July 1st to the 31st, 2023. And I have a host code / thank you code over here, which is C677XCVY. My website is inspiredbygram.com. And July's class consists of ordering special. So if you order with my host code here, $35 to $49.99, you will receive 4 card kits with random embellishments. An order of $50 to $74.99 you'll get 3 card kits and a full package of coordinating embellishments. I'm not sure what they will be, but they'll work with the card kits. An order of $75 plus, you will receive 8 card kits, coordinating embellishments, a full pack, and something from my crafting vault. And that would consist of maybe one of these little mini journals, composition books. It could be one of my clipboard kits, or it could be a journal. So something in my craft room, because I do have quite a few items in my craft room. And so these are the kits. This is a 8-pack, so this would be a qualifying order of $75 plus. Oh, and by the way, if your order is $150 or more, do not use the code. You can simply place your order. I will see it and I will know that you will qualify for level 3. Okay, I'm going to create the class for you today, step-by-step instructions, so you do have it for the future. The 2 stamp sets I'm going to be using, one is new and one is a carrying over stamp set. Layering Leaves is a new stamp set. It is a $1 Million Achiever by Rachel Tesman. I love the sentiments, and of course you guys know I'm a kind of a foliage person with these little bitty flowers here that does coordinate with our punch. The other stamp set is a carryover. Like I said, it's a quiet meadow. And I love the thinking of you and heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. So those are the 2 sentiments I'm going to be using. And then on this one, I'm going to be using best wishes, and I believe it was hello. So let's get started creating our class. You will also receive step-by-step written instructions. So let me just show you kind of what it looks like. I will cut all the designer series paper for you, so you don't have to worry about that. You will just need your adhesives, your stamps, and coordinating ink colors and adhesives. But my kits do come with all the panels, the designer series paper, die cuts, no stamped images, by the way, but you can see the supply list, measurements, and your instructions here to if you were cutting this on your own, meaning cutting the paper. So it does have all the instructions there for you, and I will send that to you by PDF, email, and I will also print it out for you so you can save some paper on your side. So we are going to get started with the first card, which is the really pretty thank you so much. Okay, so I'll just take a really quick look at it. I did some splattering some Wink Estella on this one, and it uses a card base of Native Navy, and I did stamp the envelope. You can also put your designer series paper on the back side of your envelope, something that coordinates, which in here I have this one. So let's take everything out and we will get started stamping. All right, so you're going to need, I chose to use Native Navy ink because the primary color in our card is the Native Navy. I'm looking for just the 2 pieces that we need to stamp with. which is this banner from the Stylish Shapes dies, and also my envelope. I already have thank you, and that is mounted on a D block. And I'm just gonna ink up with Night of Navy and stamp right down on the center of the banner. And again, that is from Stylish Shapes. Okay, love the font in this one. It's bold and you can really see it. It does pop off the card. And then I'm gonna also stamp on the left side of the corner, and we'll just stamp that right there. So I think that's all we have for our stamping. I'm gonna close this up and put it off to the side along with that stamp. And now we're just going to assemble the cards. I've got my silicone craft sheet handy, and we'll just kind of just go for it. I got my seal, and we're just gonna add some seal alongside of the paper here. I just usually use like 1/2 inch tick marks because the adhesive is super sticky, as you can just tell. It's stuck to my fingers. You don't have to worry about your paper being separated. So I just mounted that on my Night of Navy strip. This is going to be popped up, so since I have it in my hands, let's just add some Stampin' Dimensionals. We're going to add 5 of those. So 2 in the top, 2 in the bottom, and 1 in the middle. Okay, and I just made sure that those are securely secured to the cardstock. I have a little bit of DSP running along the edge. You can just simply take your paper snips and trim that off if that bothers you. Okay, it was just like a 1/16 of an inch, but no worries there. I have a piece of the fresh freesia. It's 4 by 5 1/4, and I've already dry embossed it with the Quatrefoil embossing folder. It's such a nice detailed embossing folder. You can add your embossed panels either embossed side up or debossed side. So the flat side is the debossed, and the embossed, which the image pops up at you, is the embossed side. So let's take our card base, which is Night of Navy 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I just made sure that it was opening the correct way. And then I'm just gonna layer this right on top of the Night of Navy. And then the next step is we're gonna remove those Stampin' Dimensionals. So let me just grab my Take Your Pick tool, and we will just take those off really quickly. And since I haven't swept my floor yet, I can just throw those on the floor. I'll pick those up later. All right, I'm gonna add this to the left side about 1/2 inch in from the left side there, lining up the top and the bottom with a fresh freesia. Then we are going to take the thank you so much, and we're gonna add it to the panel. I'm going to add Stampin' Dimensionals so it does pop up. And you can do that a couple ways. You can just add them right here, 2 of them, or you can add them to the back side of your banner. And I'm just placing it on the strip here so I know about where those dimensionals should go. All right, so I've got those peeled off, and I will add, I will add this one here. It doesn't really matter where you adhere it to. Let me just bring in the card here. That's what that one looked like. I'm gonna add it, I like it actually down low. And for me, I'm just centering the thank you so much amongst this panel here. Okay. And then we will add the Designer Series paper strip to the basic white. This is cut 3/4 across by 5 1/4 tall. My inside panel is basic white, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. And again, I'm just gonna use 1/2 inch tick marks to add adhesive to that piece. Layering it on the basic white with a little bit of edge on the left or right side. And then again, I'm gonna just take my seal and add 1/2 inch marks here and call it good. We'll add this right to the inside of your card. Okay, and then here we go. 1/4 of an inch about all the way around your border there. We can embellish this one now. And, oh, actually, no, we're going to create a knot with the Night of Navy ribbon here. And you'll receive the ribbon in your package. It will be cut a little extra long so you can work with it. I'm going to rotate my card here because it'll be easier to add this on. I'm going to add this on with a mini glue dot. And to do that, find your glue dot, stick the knot onto the circle, and I'm going to add it right to this part of the banner. Press it really, really good. You can use your fabric scissors. I've got my paper snips handy, and we're going to cut that ribbon down to make a little tiny knot bow. Okay, then we're going to embellish it. I'm going to embellish it with my rhinestones here. These are the basic jewels. They're pretty standard, have been in our catalog for such a long time, but what I really like about the rhinestones is that you can color them with your Stampin' Blends, since this is permanent ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to choose to color in one of the large, a medium, and a small one. Now the fresh freesia is just going to give you a little bit of a light hint of the purplish color. I'm going to next take my tool here, and I'm going to kind of grab underneath it and press with my finger so I can get that on the tip. Let's see, one, we're going to add this one. Let's go over here, 2, and then that little tiny one that's already colored in the fresh freesia. I'm going to put this one right down in this area here. All right, the final step for you is to add your designer series paper to the envelope flap. I like to choose random pieces because most of the time it always will coordinate. This one is directional, so you've got to be careful about that. To add your envelope or your paper to your envelope flap, again, I'm taking my seal and I'm running about 1/2 of an inch tick marks all the way around the edge and a tiny bit in the middle. And it's directional, so we're going to make sure that goes on the correct way. And then adhere it down. I like to flip it over to give it a nice little press. You can take your bone folder too, if you would like, and just kind of go like this. I use scissors that I don't really care about getting adhesive on, so I'm just going to grab those and we're going to trim around the edge. And then this will, adding your designer series paper, and this is called Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper. It's a huge paper pack with 48 sheets, 4 designs, or not 4 designs, 4 sheets of every design. All right, so I didn't get that really good and square there, but I will work on it right here and try to fix that up. Okay, so that is card number 1. It is our thank you card. And that's that one. And then on this one, I did not add the designer series paper. So to compare, you can see how really pretty your envelope is when you add the paper to your envelope. And I know we have tons of scraps, so make sure you just find something that coordinates with the pattern that you're using on the front side, and everything will look beautiful. Okay, so that is card number 1 that you'll receive in your kit. Super easy. The next one up is going to be using Old Olive and a new stamp or embossing folder, which is the Basics 3D. There's 3 different designs that come in that pack, and it's $30. So it kind of breaks down to $10 per embossing folder. So pretty good deal. All right, and again, best wishes, we're gonna stamp in Cajun Craze. So you'll grab your kit And we're gonna need the envelope. I don't think I stamped on the inside, nope. So we don't need this one, and we don't need that. We will be working with our flowers. I'm gonna set those aside so I don't lose them. We'll need the stylish shaped circle, and these we can set aside. Everything else we'll set aside for right now. All right, so Cajun Craze ink, which is the color in the middle of the flower here. So my flowers consist of Bubble Bath, Cajun Craze, Bubble Bath, and this has got the Old Olive, which is in here. The other green here is called Garden Green, which I'll be using a little bit later. So I've got my best wishes, and I have this mounted on a B block, like in Bubble Bath. Such a bold sentiment. I love the Layering Leaves stamp set. I hope you have this. If you don't, you should order it. We are going to be using this for July Card Club. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp my envelope right in the lower corner. And I think that is all for stamping. So let it close this one up, and we will set the ink pad and stamp off to the side here. We're going to embellish now, or not embellish, we're going to adhere everything together. I'm going to make this one a little bit different than our sample, so you can kind of see two different designs. Well, not designs, but two different ways you can put this together. So again, I'm going to grab my stamp and seal, and this is the debossed, and that's the embossed side. So again, the debossed is the flat side. The embossed with EM is the side that the design is raised up towards you. All right, so again, I'm just making little tick marks with my seal. There's really no direction on this. You can put it whatever way you want. This card, you can go portrait or horizontal. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to make this one a horizontal like this, the sample, and then we can put them side by side. So just mounted that Old Olive, which is 4 by 5 1/4, onto the Bubble Bath, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I've already scored it at 4 1/4. All right, the next strip is your Designer Series paper, which you will receive in your kit. I already have a bunch of kits ready to go, so I'm very excited to be sending this to you as a free offering for your qualifying order. And we'll add this right to the front, and this is 5 1/4 by 2 inches tall. Then we're going to take these two pieces, and they're circle punches. I did punch this with a 2.5 inch Stampin' Up! Circle punch. It is retired, but I still have it in my room. This is the new size circle punch. It's 2 3/8 of an inch, which is really nice. This layers really nicely onto the circle here. You could use your stylish shaped circles to kind of mimic the same thing. All right, this needs to be adhered, but we could see what it looks like this way by adding this one here, and also my best wishes is going to be over here. I think I'm going to give you two different versions so you can kind of see. This is what it would look like if it was all floral coming at you. You might think that is a little too busy. If you do, then you're just going to flip it over and just use the stripes. Okay, so it'll be kind of like this. I'm actually going to use the flowers. I do really like these beautiful flowers on the paper, so I'm going to use that side. Again, 2 3/8 circle punch, and I've got this adhered to a circle that is punched with a 2.5 inch circle. This will be popped up, so let's grab 3 dimensionals, and we'll adhere those to the back of the circle in a triangle, and make sure those are really secure. I'm going to take these off right now just to, my light just went out. Hold on. There we go. Just have to hit it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take those off, and let's see, my card's right here. Make sure it's opening. We don't want it upside down. This is gonna go right. Oh, I didn't put that on very good. Let's see if I can sneak it and take it off really carefully. Sometimes with a Stampin' Seal, you'll have a little bit of time to, and especially if I didn't press it down hard enough, you'll have just a little bit of time to take it off and reposition. So let me just do that. Okay, I'm gonna press on both sides. Now I'm using my silicone craft sheet because I already have my dimensional backings off and they don't stick to the silicone craft sheet. So if you don't have one of these craft sheets, I highly recommend that you have one or maybe even two in your craft room. Best Wishes is going to go about here. So we're going to need to put regular adhesive underneath the B and the W. And on the other side, we want Stampin' Dimensionals, 2 of them. So we're going to grab 2. And I will adhere those to the edge. And then let's take our seal and we'll just run a little bit on this side. And then I'm going to sneak this right down here. So now this side of the paper is equal to this circle here. And then by lifting or adding Stampin' Dimensionals, it's now at the same height as this circle here. We're going to, let's get rid of the strip here in the white, and then we can create our flowers. So this piece here is 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And this is a great way you can use up your scraps by just using little strips of paper on your inside panels. Okay, I do like a little bit of white showing, so I just raised that up just a little bit so you could see the basic white. And we'll add our adhesive. And open up the card. I love Bubble Bath. It's such a pretty pink color. And it gives us another option in our pinks. Okay, it's very soft pink. All right, creating our flowers. So what I would do is I would mist these with some water, just very lightly. That way it's easier to use. I'm not going to do that today on camera, but I would suggest doing that. For today, I'm just going to crinkle them up into a little ball like this, all 6 of them. And I used the Petal Park Builder Punch to punch out these flowers. One set is in the Bubble Bath and one set is in the Cajun Craze, which again is the color of the inside of the little flowers, and also the ink color that's on our sentiment. All right, again, we're squishing these together. You can kind of go like press it down, whatever. Floats your boat. All right, so now we're going to carefully open these up. And we're going to sort them out. You want to open up these very, very carefully so you don't rip the paper. You can separate the layers of paper by just kind of splitting them apart and then pulling them up slightly. That does take a little bit of time. I'm not going to do it on this video, but if you have a problem splitting your paper, just take the pointy part of take your pick tool to separate it. I don't know if I can do this real quick, and then slightly pull it apart. It does look really nice when you take that extra time. But again, I'm just going to create the flower basic. Or I guess this is one step up from the original, which is just flat. Adding a little bit of wrinkles in the paper does add some texture to it. And makes it a little bit more appealing than just kind of a flat look. Okay, so I have them all kind of laid out here. And when we punch, we get 3 flowers. So you can combine the colors. So what I like to do is I'll start with the Cajun Craze, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'll use a mini glue dot. So I'm going to take the Bubble Bath medium size, add the mini glue dot on the back side, pull it off slowly. This petal is going to go into the gap of the bottom petal. Okay, we'll repeat that process with this Cajun Craze flower. Again, add it to the mini glue dot and press down. And then finally, let's add the tiny one on top of the bubble bath. Oops, that glue dot just came off. So let me just go grab another one. And then again, I'm going to put this right into the gap of the petals. Grab bubble bath. And then pull that up slowly. It's humid today, so it can play tricks on you. All right, I'm gonna let me just rip this off so it's not in the way. All right, so we have our flowers. You can decide which one that you want on the front side. And what I'll do is, and you can figure out where you want them to. I know I'm gonna want one up here just to fill in a little bit of the gap up here. Do I want the bubble bath or do I want the Cajun Craze? I think I'm gonna go with bubble bath on the outside just because it's a little bit softer. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a glue dot over here. You can use liquid glue as well. Okay, so by adding a glue dot, I'm going to stick it onto the paper here, but we need a dimensional underneath right here. So I think just a regular one, we can kind of put it right close in there. And then we'll just add this one here. Let's see, up there. Now it's all at the same level. This one is going to go on the inside. I just love that. You could actually put it, I'm going to put it down here with the Designer Series paper. And I will just use a mini glue dot. And add it here. Next step is we're going to embellish. So I did pull out bubble bath, and I'm going to try the brush side first, just to get a little bit better coverage. It's a very, very light pink, so you may not even know that it is colored in, but there's a slight hint of pink on there. This is a larger one, so I'm not going to add this. I'm going to use a smaller one here on the white, but over here I'm just going to, let's put it, I'm looking for the white area just to fill in. So that one's going there. Where's the other one? See, I can't even hardly tell. And the middle one, middle-sized one is going to go here. And then the little tiny one is probably, yeah, I'm going to put it right here. And I do need 2 more for the flower. I did forget that. So let me just color in 2 more of the big ones. One will go on the outside flower and one will go on the inside. So now it says we have 4, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. You guys know I like to use odd numbers. So I'm just gonna color in one more. And let's put this one over here. All right, so that's our front. And on the inside, we're just going to add the biggest ones here and add that right to the middle. Okay. Next step is going to be adding your designer series paper to the envelope flap, and it's in the same manner as we did previously. So take your Stampin' Seal and run it around the edges. Okay, and then it's directional, so I want those little pretty flowers going the correct way, lining it up with the edge and the score line of the flap. You can use your bone folder. Okay, and I'm just going to trim around the edge with my scissors here that I use for envelope flaps only. That way, if I get adhesive on the scissors, I'm only getting adhesive on one set, not multiple scissors. All right, so here's our back side of the envelope. The front side looks like this. Okay, then let's put these on here. We've got that one, and we have the reverse side here. Let me just do this a little bit differently. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now you can see how they do look totally different, right? Got the stripes, and then we've got the floral. And then we have this one with no strip, and then this one with a strip down here and the flower in the corner. All right, so you can decide which design patterns that you like to create this one. So that's card number 2. Number 3 is one of my favorites. It's using the Ladybug punch. And I've got everything kind of punched out for you. And this is going to be Thinking of You card. And this uses primarily Petal Pink as our kind of our top color here. Lots of little different pieces in this one, so you'll have to be careful. Let's grab the banner. We'll work with this first. I'm just going to use the Memento Black ink. And stamp right in the middle of that banner, which comes from the Stylish Shapes die cuts. And then on the envelope, I'm going to add Thinking of You on the envelope. And we've got it in the, oops, that was not a good thing. I rocked my block, so that's why that happened. So I was being a little bit too fast. But I will, I think it's okay. I'll still send it like this. Okay, so our stamping is all done. I put my ink away and my stamp. Let's bring in our silicone craft sheet. Our card base Petal Pink, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I've got a coordinating piece of the Petal Pink embossed with a Basics 3D, and it's 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm adding the adhesive to the debossed side, so the flat side. Again, 1/2 inch tick marks. Open up the card, make sure it's correct direction, which it is. Okay, we've got that on there. Next step is to work with the basic black, and this is a 3x4 piece of the Designer Series paper. You will need your paper trimmer for this. So let me grab mine off the other table. And this is kind of like a puzzle. So when you cut the strips, the 1-inch strips, I'm starting on the right side, and we're going to cut 1, 2, and 3, keeping them in order off to the side here. All right, next up is we're going to take the basic black and we are going to start with the left side and we'll add adhesive to this strip here. This one will go right to the edge over here with equal border top, left, and bottom. The right side is next. Again, add your adhesive. And we're going to keep that in the same direction that we need to so we can form our puzzle. So see how that kind of goes together. We're just going to give it a little split, and then this one over here goes together and we'll just give it a little split. All right, let's add our adhesive. Double check and then line it up with the top and bottom and then a little gap in between. We will repeat the same step but on the step, and then on the right side again we've got two areas that we're adding in black. Okay, looks pretty good. This one will have 5 dimensionals on the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I do go back and press them down, especially on a humid day. We don't want those pulling off. Take your pick, and we will quickly take those off. Grab your petal pink, make sure it's opening correctly, and add it to the front. Okay, the sentiment needs to have dimensionals. So since I have it and my dimensionals are in sight here, I'm going to add 2. And let's take those backings off. And I'm going to set that aside. Next thing is to assemble the ladybug. All you need to do is add, you can use mini glue dots or liquid glue. I'm going to actually, do I have liquid glue? I don't know if it'll work. It's probably dried, but we'll try it. If not, then I'll use my liquid glue. I'm going to add 2 small, it's not going to work. Let me just quickly try a different one. 1 and 2, that's all you need. And we'll flip this over and we're going to add this right to the body of the ladybug, which has been punched with using basic black cardstock. The wings are crushed curry. And carefully flip this one over. We will add 2 dimensionals to the back side of this ladybug. Press those down and let me peel those off. And now I'm going to, let's got glue on there. Let me just flip that over. I'm going to just look at the card itself, and I don't really want to put it here because I really like this daisy. So I'm going to add this right down to the lower corner. Okay, then the thinking of you. Now I can press those down. The inside is got the basic white 5 1/4 by 4 with a strip that coordinates to the front. That is cut 5 1/4 or 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch, leaving that space of white. Oops, hold on. Add this. Now we're going to take our linen thread. I have my 10-second bow maker because it's so much easier for me to do it this way. All right, grab your mini glue dots. Here's one. Oops. Really sticky today. I have one way down at the end here. So I'm going to take my linen thread, add the knot portion or place to the mini glue dot. I'm going to squeeze that mini glue dot so it gets underneath the knot. And then this one is going to go right here. Okay, make sure the tails are coming down. Now, of course, those tails are way too long, so just gonna trim them down to whatever you like. And then we will embellish these. I'm going to just leave as is, so I'm not going to color them in. I am going to take 3 though. And I'm looking for the spaces that I can use for that don't have a little petal. So there's one, maybe one over here, 2, and then to form that triangle, we're going to go up here. Okay. Next step is to add your paper to the envelope, and I chose this design here. So same step as the other 2. And then we've got some polka dots on this one. And this yellow matches the yellow that's on the daisy, so it's crushed curry. It's a little bit harder to see the white on white where the edge is on the flap, so just take your time. Okay, I think that's it. So we have 2 more cards here. We've got one with the yellow crushed curry envelope flap, and on this one I use a different ribbon, but for the kits I'm going to be sending you the linen thread. I think it's just a little bit lighter in weight, and I think it looks a little bit better than the pink. This design here I used black and white to coordinate with the black cardstock. So a little bit different, but still super sweet. All right, we're going to move into our last card, which is a heartfelt love card. And it does use garden green ink. Okay, set that over here. Grab your kits. We will, I'm not going to stamp this one in the corner just because the sentiment I'm using. I'm going to just save that for the inside. And that'll be the circle. This I used a 1 3/4 inch punch. And I punched using the basic white cardstock. Sorry, I had a little mental block there. Now, I don't think I mounted my stamp. So, where's my stamp here? Let's just see. Here it is. Got stuck with the magnet sheet. All right. This is a great learning time for you. I'm going to use a B block, and when I put my sentiments on, I add them to the block at a diagonal. So when I stamp, My eyes are focusing on the letters and not the edge of the block. If you haven't tried that, give it a try and you'll see what I mean. There we go. Heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. I think that is all of the stamping, yes. Or what we could do, just thought of this, is we could take the envelope, which is right here. Since it is a thinking of you card and I have this stamp already out here, I can just simply re-ink it in the black and add thinking of you right on the front. And I did the same thing, rocked it. I think I need a B block, that's why that's been happening. All right, that's all the stamping. Since I've got this right here, we're going to take the sentiment circle with, this is a handmade tag punch. I'm using lots of punches today. And we've got 3 dimensionals we'll add to the back of this circle. Press them down. And then we'll remove those. Then this is going to get centered right onto the handmade tag punch in garden green. So this is our focal point. It's really not that centered. Let's try that again. There we go. Press it from the back. We've got a 4 by 5 1/4 inch Delightfully Eclectic. We've got garden green, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We will add our adhesive to the back side here. Now, if you have option number 3, which you get 8 card kits based on a $75 order or above, make sure you are creating both cards at the same time. That way you will save your time. This one can either go this way or it can go this way, whatever you would like. I'm going to, let's make it this way so you can see a little bit of a difference. All right, so we'll add some adhesive here. I'm going to add it at an angle. Then we've got a 3 by 3 square. This is also 3 by 3. And then this is a kind of a funky cut because I got a little bit of here. See that design, but I don't have any over here. So let's just think about this a little. I think I'm going to put it on this side. That way it's not in the middle. Or let's just see what it's going to look like. Yeah, I'm going to put it this way. Okay. This can get adhered straight down to the paper. This one is straight down. I'm going to actually lift this one up. I think for some reason this direction being horizontal, I felt like it was getting lost. This focal point was getting lost amongst the layers of paper underneath. We can add it here, or we can try to center it, which will look like this. And I'll do that. And then let's work on the basic white panel, and we're just going to add a strip of the DSP there. Again, Delightfully Eclectic. It's a huge paper pack, 48 sheets, 4 pages of each design, and it's $30. It's in the catalog in our Designer Series paper section. Now, yeah, that's not directional because the flowers one way are correct, and then another flower is upside down, so it really doesn't have a particular pattern. And let's add this right here. we're going to embellish, but I'm going to use, let's see, Calypso Coral, because I want this coral to kind of pop if we can get it to pop. So I'm using the dark blends. Ooh, this is probably going to be great. So I've got a small, medium, and large basic rhinestone. And I've got a lot of fresh freesia over here. I'm going to tame it down with the larger rhinestone. And then I'm going to come over here. And then that little tiny one is going to go, let's see, form our circle or triangle, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. I think, yep, we've got this all done. Our last envelope flap for the day. All right, again, 1/2-inch tick marks. And don't forget, my special does go until July 31st, 2023. 3 options for you. Option 1 is receive 4 card kits and coordinating embellishments, just enough for your cards. And then option number 2 is 4 card kits and a full package of embellishments. It'll be coordinating. Not sure what I'm going to send yet. All depends on inventory. And then option number 3, which is the best deal, you'll get 8 card kits, a full pack of embellishments coordinating, and also something from my crafting vault, I call it. And that is items that I sell at craft fairs. And that way you can see what I make, and maybe that you would like to make it as well and sell it in your craft fairs. Okay, there we go. Now let's line these 2 cards up so we can kind of see. I definitely like the portrait mode better. This did get a little smudged. It's my sample, but that's why it kind of looks a little funky there. But you guys can decide which portrait or horizontal, your choice. I got 2 different envelope flaps on this one. Let's just use what we have. It all coordinates nicely. So this is card number 4. And then number 3 is the thinking of you. I don't know if I can fit all this on here. And then we have the best wishes. And then thank you so much. So I do thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you made it to the end. Again, my host code for July 1st to the 31st is 2023 is C like in Charlie, 677X as in X-ray, C as in Charlie, V as in Vermont, and Y as in you. So you can place your order at inspiredbygraham.com. Don't forget to use the host code so that you receive the card kits. If I do see that you don't use it, I will email Stampin' Up to see if they will add it. But please do add it. That way it saves a step. If your order is $150 or more, do not use this. So you will receive your Stampin' Rewards, but you will still receive 8 card kits, a full package of coordinating embellishments, and something from my crafting vault. So if any questions, just leave those in the comments. I'll be sure to answer those. And for all your Stampin' Up needs, you can find me at inspiredbygraham.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.